Okay, now let's look at some of the basics of using the next tab over, tone curve. So here we are in our image. I'm going to reset it back to the way it looked initially. Click the little tab here, choose Camera Raw Defaults. Now we're back to the way the image looked before. And what I want to do now is I'm going to jump over from the Basic tab to the Tone Curve tab. I'm going to click there, Tone Curve. And so if you've ever worked with Photoshop's Curves tool, you're already have a familiarity with what's happening here. Let's go to the Point Curves tool, which is the traditional curves tool that you'll see in Photoshop. So what I do is I can click and I can drag up, and I'm editing the red, the green, and the blue in the image. And if I drag that down, once again, I'm editing the red, the green, and the blue. One thing that you can do is a trick that improves every image, so it makes a good image great, or a great image even better, is to click and add in 3 nodules. Click on that top nodule and arrow key that, tap the up arrow key up, click on that bottom nodule and tap that bottom nodule down, and produce this gentle sweeping S shape, and that gives an overall positive dimensionality to your image. If I want to take one of these nodules out, I just click and drag, and I'll take the nodules straight out. Now, in addition to that, using the traditional curves tool, I can isolate a channel. So I could go in and say, wait, I think there's too much red in this picture. I could click, grab that, drag it down, and you'll see that I'm pulling the reds down out of this image, or I could pull the reds up, or I could come down and grab the bottom and drag that over, and I'm editing the reds and the darks of the image, drag that this way, and I'm editing the reds and the highlights of the image. And I could do that in each channel. I could do that in the green, same kind of thing, or I can edit the little corners and create some very interesting modifications to my image. Now, I'm going to go back to the RGB slider. If I grab the little slider at the bottom and drag it up, I'm adjusting the contrast and the darkness. And this way, once again, contrast and the darkness. And that's my basic curves tab. Now, if I go to the parametric curves, what they've done is they've broken the curves down. Notice in the background there that there is a histogram. And once again, we're measuring that image using that histogram. And what they've done here with the parametric curves is they've given it a little handle here so that you can see, hey, if I grab this part and adjust it, I'm adjusting the highlights in my image. If I grab this part, I'm adjusting the lights. And you can see where the curve is bending. And then, of course, the darks in the image. So you see that long sloping curve that's happening. And then the shadows, you'll see just the small part at the bottom being adjusted. And so that's basically how to use that tone curve adjustment.